Now let's walk through how to enter your unguided trips to the park. Remember, these are trips like air taxi service or shuttle service where you only provided transportation and your staff did not accompany clients in the park. To enter unguided trips to a park, select Enter Trips from the green menu bar. If you hover over the button, two options will be displayed: guided trips and unguided trips. Select Unguided Trips. On the Enter Unguided Trips page, select Add Trip to enter a new trip. In the Park column, click on the arrow to the right of the box to select the park unit. The drop-down list will show the park units in which your company is currently an authorized CUA holder. Select the park and then continue to fill in the fields from left to right. The unguided trip type and specific location drop-downs are unique to each park. Fill in the field to the left to populate the drop-down to the right. In our first example, we'll enter an air taxi trip. First, enter the unguided trip type. The unguided trip type drop-down shows the approved unguided commercial activities in the selected park unit. Select the unguided activity your company provided for the trip you're entering. This should be the primary or main service you provided or were engaged in on that trip to the park. Next, select whether your trip was a pickup, drop-off, or both. Then enter the trip date and number of clients. Moving to the right, you'll see fields to enter latitude and longitude. Some park units require GPS coordinates for certain commercial activities. If GPS coordinates are required for the park and trip type you are entering, then the data fields will be outlined in red. Refer to your park-specific permit conditions for detailed reporting requirements. If required, enter coordinates accurate to within a quarter mile of your landing location. Follow the format example in the column headers to correctly enter the coordinates. You can type in the field, or you can copy and paste from another program or application. Control-C to copy, Control-V to paste. Moving to the right, you'll enter the specific location of your trip and client activity. The client activity dropdown shows activities your unguided clients were engaged in on their own. In this example, we'll select photography. You'll select photography when your clients were on a sightseeing or park passport stamp collecting trip to the parks. Now, the next four columns only apply to incidental hunt and big game transporters. We'll skip those fields in this example and cover them in the next. In this example, we've entered all the required data for our air taxi trip to the park. When you're finished entering details, click Update to leave edit mode. If you need to edit the data after you select Update, just click on the row to return to edit mode. Make your change and select Update. After selecting Update, when a trip is not in edit mode, a record can be deleted or copied using the icons to the left of the row. Use the left icon with the squares to copy the row of data. Use the icon with the X to delete the row. The copy tool is useful if your business conducts similar trips. You can copy a trip and then change the applicable details such as group size or date without needing to populate each field. This is also really handy for pickup and drop-off trips where the majority of the information is the same. Select the icon with the squares to copy. The trip is copied in edit mode. Make the necessary changes and then select Update to leave edit mode. Now let's copy a row of data and enter a new trip where we provide big game transport services. Select Copy to Update. We'll change our unguided trip type. The rest of the data will keep the same for this example, except client activity, since our clients were sport hunting on this trip. Moving to the right, we'll enter data in incidental hunt and big game transporter fields. Big game transporters. If your trip was a drop-off, or if the transporter hunters were unsuccessful, you'll need to enter an X in the fields for game species and sex and estimated pounds. But in our example, we have data to enter. We transported 2 animals. In the fields, we'll enter the species and sex, M for male, F for female. And if we had more than one animal, we'll separate the game species and sex with a comma. Moving on to the right, we'll enter the estimated pounds of transported meat and the tail number of our aircraft. Big Game Transporters will fill in the last field with the State of Alaska Big Game Commercial Services Board Transporter Activity Report Number that's associated with the trip they're entering. The report number is located on the upper right corner on your State of Alaska Transporter Activity Report. You will enter the Transporter Activity Report number for all trips, drop-offs, and pickups associated with that report. If you are an incidental hunt transporter, you will need to enter an X in this VURn field. Okay, when you're finished entering details for the trip, click Update to leave edit mode. Again, remember, if you need to edit the data, just click on the row, make your change, and select Update to leave edit mode. When finished entering trips or for a different view of the data you've entered, navigate to the Existing Trips page. You can get to the Existing Trips page using the Existing Trips button on this page, or by selecting Existing Trips in the green menu bar. Once you land on the Existing Trips page, the unguided trips you have entered will be displayed on the lower section of the page. You can filter the trips shown here by park, report status, draft, submitted, accepted, unresolved, or by date. Click on the drop-down arrow to the right of the field or start typing in the field to alphabetically filter the list. Most searchable and editable fields in VURn filter when you start typing in the field. To unfilter a list, select and delete the filter word. The original drop-down list will appear. Entered trips are initially shown in draft mode. Click on the pencil icon to the left of the row to see details of the trip. The Edit Unguided Trip pop-up will appear. If needed, you can edit the details of the trip using the drop-down arrows or by typing in a field without a drop-down list. After completing your edit, select Save. Select Cancel to discard the change. Once you have entered your trips and reviewed your entries for accuracy, you are ready to submit. Refer to the Submit Trips section of the user guide or watch the Submitting Trips section of the video to walk through the process.